What's going on, guys? Tugi here, back again with some more NHL 16 and my Boston Bruins GM mode. In this episode, we will finish up the preseason and get into the regular season. We will also figure out who will be our backup goalie, who will be our seventh defenseman, and will anybody surprising break into the starting lineup. Let's sim these first two games against Buffalo and Detroit, Jeremy Smith's games. So we lose in the shootout to Buffalo. And in the end, Jeremy Smith loses both of his games, a 3-2 shootout loss and a 5-2 loss to the Detroit Red Wings. Alright guys, two changes in the lineup thus far. Malcolm Subban will come in for his two games. Zane McIntyre will be the backup. And looking at the starting lineup, Austin Czarnik, 71 overall, who is playing left wing, has been sent down. Ryan Spooner is up. He'll be playing top line center. Alex Kovalchev moves over to the left. Malcolm Subban's two games and see what happens, and we lose 6-0 and 4-2. Malcolm Subban gets shelled for 10, I would presume 10 goals in 2 games. Lineups for the next game look like this. The last 2 games for players to make an impression: Seth Griffith, Ryan Spooner, and David Pastrnak up front. We might switch it over to give Kovalchev a game with those two as well to make it a little bit fair. He is rolling with power forwards Colton Hargrove and Justin Hickman, Anton Blid, Asiari, and Solarik on the third line, with Ronaldo Camara and DeFazio on the fourth line. Defensive pairings, and again, we are actually going to switch Morrow and Trotman to the top. They need ice time. Both are struggling. It'll be interesting to see if either one of them pick up a spot. And goaltending wise, it is time for Zane McIntyre. It is his backup spot to steal at this point. Final 2 games here before we get the regulars in for the Montreal game. Can we finally get a preseason win? We'll take care of that scouting assignment after. We lose against Florida, and Zane McIntyre unfortunately gets injured. We do get the win against Toronto. We'll have to see how bad that injury is, but that is our only win thus far of the preseason. And thankfully, guys, we lucked out. Zane McIntyre is only going to be out for 2 days. Dodged a bullet there. Our decision came down to this. Malcolm Subban actually got that win coming into the game, but as you can see, just none of the goalies were overly impressive. Almost a 5 goals against average for Zane McIntyre. Jeremy Smith's was the lowest, but nobody with a save percentage over 900. In response to the disappointing preseason for all 3 goalies, I am going to put Jeremy Smith up on the trade block. As you can see, the least amount of trade value, also the least amount of potential at 26 years old as well. We'll actually take a look at the backup goalies available right now. I believe Jonas Gustafsson is still there. Let's take a look, and indeed he is. Gustafsson is going to be the man. He is going to be the backup if we can open up a roster spot. Surprisingly, guys, and the reason why I went with this slow start, actually taking, a little bit, or making the preseason a little bit of a priority, is because we've had an upset, and we're going to have somebody starting, or at least being our 7th defender that we didn't plan on, and that is going to be Colin Miller. He had a decent preseason with 4 assists. He was a -4. However, if you take a look at Zach Trotman, a -6. Same thing for Joe Morrow, although he did have 3 assists. But Colin Miller has won a spot on this team. We are going to send down the other guys, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Colin Miller acquired in the Milan Lucic deal from LA. The other big competition aside from Trotman and Morrow was Kovalchev and Spooner, and as you can see, Alex Kovalchev did not have the greatest of preseasons, a -11. Unfortunately, not the greatest of stats, but still a little bit telling as compared to Ryan Spooner, only a -3. He also had 3 points, so Ryan Spooner is going to survive. Here is the team we are going to roll with. These are your 2015-16 Boston Bruins to start. Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, and Louis Eriksson up front. Second line, Jimmy Hayes, David Krejci, and David Pastrnak. Third line, we're going to roll with Brett Connolly to start alongside Ryan Spooner and Seth Griffith. Fourth line, Matt Bolesky, Chris Kelly, and Max Talbot. Simply due to the grind line nature, we're going to keep that. It's going to be a real physical line, and we'll see how well they do to start. Defense, it's about as expected. Chara, Seidenberg, Krug, McQuaid, Irwin, and Miller. Starting goalie, of course, Tuukka Rask. Simming the final preseason game against Montreal, it's actually been a pretty disappointing preseason as we lose 3-1 and finish with only one win, but the roster is set. We are moving on to the regular season. Our first game will be against the Winnipeg Jets. No idea why David Krejci lost morale due to some recent roster moves. Maybe because rosters were finalized, and I'm going to assume that the the final set roster, some of their friends didn't make it. But we actually have some players that already want to meet with us, so we will go to the player morale section, and we have 5 different players that want to meet with us, and we'll actually start off with our captain. Let's see what Zdeno Chara has to say. And he says, it's an honor to wear the C for this organization. Now, really quickly, before we get to that, obviously with the new chemistry system, something I'm probably going to test out, especially if we struggle, is pairing people with other players they have good chemistry with. Now, obviously, Chara has really good chemistry with Seidenberg. They're already paired together. But for example, say Chris Kelly has really good chemistry with Patrice Bergeron. Would it be worth putting those two on a line? Will they play even better since they're playing on a line with friends of theirs? That's something I would expect to actually be a thing. But let's see. Let's respond to Zdeno Chara. I almost want to give the bottom answer, considering he'll be retiring soon. But we'll just tell him that he deserves it, because he most certainly does, and it has a decent positive effect. Patrice Bergeron says management is really on the ball as of late, or at least it seems, and it's great. Now see, this was an example. Bergeron actually does have really good chemistry with Max Talbot. We'll see what happens there. We will give Bergeron just a straight, simple answer. No effect on morale. Max Talbot apparently not happy to walk into the locker room. That is a little bit disappointing. You know what, Max Talbot? You're not going to be a big part of this team for the future. Be a leader, son. Lead by example. And he's actually happy. He's actually happy with me telling him to be a leader. So that's decent. Chris Kelly feeling like the locker room is a dysfunctional family. I strongly disagree, and I'm going to tell him to be a role model as well. He's been in this locker room long enough. It can have a negative effect all at once. But maybe Chris Kelly is the reason Dougie Hamilton didn't feel so comfortable. Maybe Chris Kelly is the reason why Tyler Seguin was a troublemaker. Maybe Chris Kelly is the real problem. Jeremy Smith also has an issue with some of the roster moves, and considering he played so poorly, we're just going to tell him to focus on the game and not on the front office. First game of the season against Winnipeg, and I'm actually going to sim this one. I don't know how big of a trend this is going to be. I want this to go quickly, but I also want to see what exactly we can do. We're going to sim this first period. We are down 1-0. The goal from Mark Scheifele. We got shot 14-6. Not the best of starts. Let's see what happens in the second period, and we get a nice comeback. Louis Eriksson and Patrice Bergeron, both outside shots, but that's Andre Pavlik for you. Let's simulate this third period, and we start off the season with a win. Brad Marchand, another outside goal, beats Pavlik. Ladd scores from the point as well. We get outshot 33-24, but it's a 3-2 win, and a nice way to start the season after a pretty disappointing preseason. But there you see Tuukka Rask, a .930 save percentage, 31 saves, a goal and 2 assists for both Louis Eriksson and Patrice Bergeron. Really quickly, I was browsing around and I noticed that San Jose is looking for a backup goalie. Now, obviously, we haven't gotten any offers for Jeremy Smith yet, and while Jeremy Smith won't perfectly fit the criteria they are looking for, perhaps we can shoehorn a deal here with San Jose to have them take Jeremy Smith. They also have Thornton and Marlowe on the trade block again already. But perhaps we can shoehorn this deal, have them take Jeremy Smith, and that way we can sign Gustafsson for the year. And next year, whoever had the better season between Subban and McIntyre will probably take over our backup spot. Now, let's see. Of course, they do have Martin Jones, who we traded them. That's a beautiful first-round pick that Donnie Dollars Don Sweeney managed to get. Not too disappointed with that. They are interested in giving away draft picks as well. I'm going to see if I can get a, let's go for their fourth. Let's shoot high, pretty even on value. Let's see if they'll do it. Jeremy Smith, who just did not have a good preseason and isn't going to fit into this team long term, can we ship him out for a San Jose fourth round pick? And it has been rejected. They are not very interested, in the value is not there. We will we'll just try and get this deal to go through. We don't need Jeremy Smith. He's not good enough to be our backup, and it'll take a contract off the books, which is huge for us. Fifth round pick from San Jose, and it has also been rejected. Jeremy Smith, I guess, just does not have that much trade value. Sixth round pick from San Jose. These are the possible moves that will happen. It's going to call up Subban if this goes through, which I'm going to guess it does, and it indeed does. Brett Connolly, Kevin Miller, not too happy. Neither is Torrey Krug about losing friend Jeremy Smith, but he is gone for a sixth round pick to San Jose. A lot of people not happy about that one. We'll now go over to goaltenders, and again, our main target, Jonas Gustafsson, on a PTO in real life for the Boston Bruins, actually challenging Jeremy Smith. Will offer him exactly what he wants, a one-year deal, and we will see if he accepts. We are going to sim this Montreal game as well. It is against Montreal. We'll simulate the first period, and it is 1-1 after the first. Two defensemen score. Tom Gilbert and Dennis Seidenberg from a crazy angle manages to beat Carey Price. We outshot him 10-6. Second period, still scoreless. Montreal takes the lead in shots. Let's see what happens here in the third period. We'll just simulate this as you do. 8 times, go minute by minute. And let's hope we can get the early win against Montreal here. This is going to be a crazy game in real life, and it's been a very hotly contested game here. It would be a big win early on to get this, and we may just be going to overtime, and we are going to 3-on-3 overtime. As you see, a big chunk of time's already down. We're getting outshot. We'll increase the sim speed just a little bit, go slowly, just to see if we can pull out a win here. Montreal still getting the better of the shots in this overtime. A little bit anxious. Marchand, you're a 3-on-3 wizard. You're a short-handed wizard. You have all that space. Do something, son. 28 seconds left. The clock is ticking, and we are going to a shootout against Montreal. So on the bright side, yes, we have picked up a point, which is very nice, but I'd love to get this early win against Montreal, and we do. Brad Marchand, we called him out, and he steps up, getting the shootout winner. A gigantic win against Montreal, 1-0 in the shootout. Tuukka Rask, first star of the game, another great game with a .960 save percentage. Dennis Seidenberg, the only straight up goal for us in regulation, and there you see Carey Price with a .950 save percentage, insane as well. Still no answer from Jonas Gustafsson, unfortunately, but we are going to sim until we get an answer, until we know if he is going to be our backup. In the meantime, we have a quick situation to address with Torrey Krug, and he is still extremely upset about us trading away Jeremy Smith. You know, we gave him something similar to that answer on the first time. We're going to go with this one, that it'll make us a better team, and thankfully he reacts positive to it. So we dodge a bullet there. Hopefully Torrey Krug continues to be in better spirits. But now let's sim this game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. we'll actually go in depth once again. Why not? This would be a very long first episode from the looks of it. But we need that answer from Jonas Gustafsson. I'm dying to know. We sim the first period. We are up 1-0. Brad Marchand, another goal. Of course, the first one didn't count, but it's technical now. First goal of the season against Ben Bishop. Second period, it remains the same. We're just going to sim the third period and see what we get, and it's a 1-0 win. Marchand's goal stands tall. A 32-save shutout for Tuukka Rask, who has been on fire this season thus far. Ben Bishop had a great game, but there you see Brad Marchand, the second star of the game, with the game-winning goal. And there it is, guys. Jonas Gustafsson has accepted. He will be our backup goalie this season. Alright, guys, so there you have it. Let me know down below what you think of this series. Again, it was a tough decision on my part to actually pay attention to the preseason and actually to go slowly with this GM mode rather than just immediately come out the gates and sim to the first All-Star break or to the trade deadline. I want to put maybe just a little bit more of a realistic touch on this and actually try to, again, be a proper GM and not just breeze through this for content's sake. And also, I wanted this first episode to go slowly to hopefully get some user input. Let me know, again, down in the comments below what you think of this series, what direction we should go. Are there certain players we should go after? But for the meantime, we are 3-0. We've had a good start to the season after that rocky preseason. Tuukka Rask is on fire. We have our new backup keeper. We look good to go, at least so far, but anything can happen. It is an 82-game season, as you can see, and we are only 3 games of the way through. I thank you guys so much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I will catch you guys next time.